Hey guys, what's up? It's Vendetta, and I thought I'd do two more battles. They're just kind of fairly small battles, they're nothing big and fabulous like myself. But I'm just joking. But because do want to kind of start to upload. I want to. I can't even speak today. I want to try and upload about every day. I'm into my Easter holiday, and I didn't upload one for you on Sunday, so I thought today I'd upload two videos, and one of them was of Surav, Viper, Goldfish, and Snapper, and then this one is going to have two battles in it. It's going to have me and this guy called John, and then the next one will have me and I can't remember what the other guy's name was, but it was an interesting battle, but it was really quick, so I thought, I'd shove that. I just kind of tag that one onto the end of this one. Now this is a Shogun 2, and the next battle is going to be quite short, but it is a Fall of the Samurai battle. So pretty much, I just thought I'd crack out some content for you. These are they're quite small battles. They're nothing too special, but hey, some people just like my commentaries, and I thought, well, why not? So I'm of course playing as my Bronze General. I was talking to John throughout this. I don't know him, it was just quite random, but I brought my Fire Cav and my second and third hammers. Second hammer Pursuit there, getting a run out. That's good 40 charge there, 35 charge. All these guys have got some pretty good stats, and we are going to be fighting over the Shrine and the Archery Dojo. So I've got Captain Cabinet as well. No, I'm not slowly creeping, I'm actually getting into a full-on jog there. Now, I wouldn't advise this. I'd say keep your units out of forest, because I think they do actually get slowed down, and it does kind of deplete their fatigue, if you like, so they do get very tired running through forest. That's just something I found out. It might not be factual, so try not to quote me on that. But I've got some matchstock warrior monks. I've got some Naginata attendants. I've got my first shock troopers and my third shock troopers. I've then got my Naginata lads and Naginata samurai. So that's obviously two Naginata samurai and then two Katana samurai. I don't really bring Naginata samurai too often, although I should, because they are a very good unit. So let's go see what John's bought. He has bought some Naginata warrior monks. He's actually got two of those. They're hiding in the forest. He's got his general called Foxlord. He's then also got, I think it's four Naginata warrior monks. So looking at the stats, look at this, is beasting. Oh, so he's got 16 rounds. Some of these guys, 17 attack, 15 attack on those guys. But this is pretty insane. This is something you don't want to be fighting against. Now my army is pretty messed up. It's not quite to the strength of his. In a full-on engagement, he would definitely win. Just want to point out, he would probably win in a straight-out engagement, so I've kind of had to get the shrine as quick as possible, because if he gets the shrine, he is going to be pretty much unbreakable. He's put his general in stand and fight. He has got a leadership general, further enforcing that his monks are not really going to be breaking anytime soon. And what's this? He has decided to bring a bow hero. Now, I never see bow heroes getting used. I don't think I've ever brought one myself. I don't really bring a lot of hero units. But again, I probably should, because they are very good, and they are kind of secondary generals. They do inspire units nearby, and I think even some of them can have the rally or inspire, whatchamacallit, the upgrade, which is pretty interesting when you think about it. So sometimes I always have the hero unit out on the limb, away from my general. That way you get to inspire more units at once. I'm not quite sure what John's doing. He's just done a rally, which he doesn't really want to be doing. He's done stand and fight. He's going to run up here and do a stand and fight again. His warrior monk cav is still in the forest here, and I did send off my Nagi attendants to go capture the shrine. So he definitely outranges me, because if you look at the stats on these guys, 225 range, 80 reload skill, 100 accuracy. He's got 60 ammunition. These guys are not going to be running out anytime soon. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to dismount my third hammer, and I'm going to capture the archery dojo. This will force him forward. Because then we kind of have I have both the key buildings. So this is quite an interesting map. I do like playing on this map. Normally I will, normally I will kind of come down onto this area here, into the lowlands. I'm not really too keen in running up all these big hills. So if you ever play against me, that would be a good idea. And I have got a battle where I do play against Sparky. I might cast that a bit later on. That was again on this map, so it's a very interesting battle. And Sparky, good player, good guy. and I will be hosting that. No, not hosting. I will be commentating that battle because it was a good one. So yeah, the archery dojo will be going up for me. I should be capturing it momentarily, which will of course start off a 10-minute counter, which is precisely why I've done it. I have got the cav dominance, and there's another battle because I've got so many battles I want to go through this Easter, because I'm kind of into my Easter holiday, so that kind of counts for my whole 2 weeks pretty much. But I've got a lot of battles to show you through. I've played a lot with loads of different people recently, and now Commentaries seems to be messaging me. I'm not entirely sure what he's saying. Dat Anno, yes, yeah, that Anno, whatever you say, Armour. So the cavalry is a pretty integral part of any army. Sometimes I bring it, sometimes I don't. I do think of myself as a cav player because I love playing with cav, and I love playing mind games as well. I was playing with one of my old school friends yesterday, and every single move he made is like, "Oh, I'm just going to move up a little bit." I'm like, "Bro, are you sure?" No, I mean, seriously, like, are you sure? And he's like, "Well, what's wrong with moving my men up?" I'm like, "No, don't worry, don't worry. If you think it's fine, if you think it's fine." And he's just like, "Fuck that, I'm not going to move him anymore." And I'm like, "Why? What's stopping you?" And he's like, "You." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Stop fucking playing mind games." It's just like, oh, bro, calm down. So, that can be quite fun. I do sometimes do it when I'm playing random games. Um, I'd be typing in the chat, "You sure about that? You sure you want to do that move?" It sounds quite horrible, but I just do it for a bit of a laugh. I like to have a bit of fun when I'm playing. So yeah, this is, as you probably imagine, this isn't a very serious commentary. These are more just some random little battles I thought I'd show you. But really, I just want to force him forward, which is why I've captured both of these. I did send him a message, I think, saying I've started a 10-minute countdown, and he was saying how he hated key buildings, which, to be honest, I do kind of agree with him, but I can understand why they're there. They can make the gameplay a bit more fun. So, it does kind of force you forward. It does force tactics. I mean, whenever I play in the tournament battles now, more often than not, I would like to have key buildings in there purely because it does force you to play. I remember Sterix and Sarav, when they were playing their match, it lasted for about a good hour because none of them were going to move and there weren't any key buildings to take priority on. So I can see why they're there, and they can also be a lot of fun, and they can act as a sort of balancing mechanism. So I don't know, if someone's hopelessly, low rank, and then they're playing against someone who's really high rank, it can be quite nice to have some key buildings there, because then the player with the kind of worst units can then kind of jump back with some pretty decent stats, and it won't be horribly one-sided, if you know what I mean. So what he's going to do is he's going to take some shots with his Fox's Elite Archers, which are the bow hero units, and they're going to be taking some good shots at my Matchstock Warrior Monks, and yeah, I'm not really too sure what I was doing with my Matchstocks at this point. But my cavalry is just going to creep up on his side. Again, I'm playing them mind games, yo. Bruh. So yeah, I'm getting those mind games in. I pretty much just want him to break up his force. Now, this is very crucial. Now, this is where we go from a casual commentary to a very serious one. Pro tip: always try and split your force, like your enemy forces up. You see, because as I was saying earlier, in a straight-up fight, I cannot beat these warrior monks. Just look at the stats. Yeah, they're nothing too special, but they are pretty heavily done. Now, especially if you have the shrine, it will make my job even worse. But what I've managed to do is I've managed to split his units up. I've pushed his cavalry back, even though his cavalry could more... They probably could take on my cav. I think he's got about 17 melee attack on both of them, which is of course going to smack straight into these guys. What's this? You have gained 25 respect. Oh, I'm not sure what you're talking about, bro. But what I mean? It's good to kind of split his units up, because what he's done now is that these guys are really behind. If I charge these warrior monks now, yeah, they'll do pretty darn well, but with no supporting units, it's going to be pretty hard for him. And this is actually quite a good formation, I think, because what he's done is that it's kind of showed that I can't outflank him unless I really go extreme. But I'm going to be charging in my cavalry. Again, these guys have got 18 morale, so he has got some warrior monk cavs. That's pretty darn deadly. And I'm going to pull one unit out to the flank here to try and keep these guys in their position. So that's another thing, you should never block your cavalry up. You should always spread them out as much as possible, because again, that kind of reinforces keeping your opponent's attention in lots of different areas at once. Again, playing those mind games. But we're also going to be keeping his units pinned down. So if I had all my cavalry here, you know, he'd be able to move his cavalry up a little bit more further, and it looks like I'm a bit painfully close there. He could just charge me outright, and I'm now going to charge straight down into his units. I'm going to get a nice charge off here. This was the only benefit, you know, if you've got some Yari cav and you're against monk cav, you always need to get the charge. You need to get the charge, basically. He's let off a war cry there, which isn't too great. He's let off another war cry, so they're premature war cries. There are certain times you want to be doing that. And I'm going to be charging my Naginata units here. I'm going to be firing into his bow heroes because these guys have been pissing me off all match. So they're going to get a good thumping by some lead. And then I draw up his Naginata Warrior Monk Cav, and they're going to get sustained combat with my Yari Cav. But yeah, in terms of war cries, what you really want to be doing is... I mean, there are several ways you can play it. It's a bit like the Banzai ability. The Banzai ability, you can either pop off straight away just as you're, like, you know, about to make impact from a charge. It will boost all your stats up and it will last longer. Or what you could do alternatively is, you know, if the match is getting getting a bit of grind out stage. Both armies are kind of grinding it out. You're both depleted. The morale is going down. What you could do is stim your kind of Nodachis up a little bit and then use the Banzai. So the war cry, same principle applies. If you're in a grind out battle, it's not going too well for you. You've grinded down their army, they've grinded yours, then put a war cry on. And sometimes that can be more beneficial. But, you know, that's just two different ways you can play it. Because then they're just more likely to break the enemy than breaking straight away. I'd probably say that's the best way to play a war cry, unless you definitely know your enemies or your opponent's units are very weak in terms of morale. So my Match Shock's now going to open up into his general, making break and shatter. I could charge in my cav, I'm not really sure why I don't. But again, you see, this is how I managed to beat him. I made sure his units were all broken up, and then I managed to charge in. You know, all guns blazing, distractions from all this cav, and really, that's what enabled me to win the game. And those units are now just going to get swamped. And these Naginata attendants are going to be killing some hero units, so that's going to be a good day on the field for them. So I hope you enjoyed the battle, and we won't bother going into the results screen. We'll jump straight across to the next battle, which I thought was quite fun. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. So what's up, guys? We're on the Yamasaki choke point. This is a cool map. I do like it. It's got some hills, got some trees, we've got some rivers, and yeah, really, it's a very obscure map to play on. I've played many a match on this, and it's still quite fun, but very challenging at the same time. So I'm going to be playing against Mick McKick 2, and it's obviously me, Vendetta. Now, this is a Fall of the Samurai battle. It's pretty darn quick, but I thought it was a good kind of display of cavalry and how you probably should be using it. So let's go look, see what the armies are. I've bought 4th Company, 1st Company, 6th Company, 7th Company. What the hell, Vendetta? Why have you named all your units like that? Well, I just thought it sounded cool. But to give you the breakdown, so I've got some Red Bear, Black Bear, White Bear, and White Bear. And then I've got some Kyoto Police, along with Captain J. Cabinet, and yep, as I suspected, it's going to be my old general. So we're going to be fighting over the Shrine, Sword Dojo, and the Archery Dojo, and that brings me over to my 2nd Hammer Cav. So I have brought over some of the names from my traditional general. This is going to be my 2nd Hammer with that 16 melee attack, and then I've also got 3rd Hammer, and then 2 Carbine Cav at the same time. Now my opponent, oh, what's his name? Mick McKick. He has brought some parrot guns. These are very, very deadly. He's kind of positioned them quite awkwardly. This is something you must look at whenever you're fielding cannons, because you can really screw up their whole match. If the positioning's bad, generally you should always look at what map you're going to be playing on before you decide whether to bring cannons. And yeah, this probably wasn't the best idea, but you know, you still might do pretty decently, or you should have at least put them onto the cliff here. So, what units has he brung, Vendetta? Well, he's bought some Red Bear up front. Those guys have got some pretty good stats. He's then got some Yariki, Spear Levy, a Red Bear Infantry. He's got his General, Yariki, and then he's sending over an Infantry Day Marine, and he's also sending over a Vermilion Bird Force. But from what I've seen, a Vermilion Bird Force is pretty darn good. And then we're looking over here, and notice how I don't engage all of my units at once. I stroll on past, I let this second hammer chop up. I've got the downhill charge on his Yariki. This is a bad move to pull over his Yariki. You really should be sending this red bear right round immediately. In fact, I'd be sending my whole army turn around on the flank, because this is a huge threat. I've got gun cav, which can just kite him all day long. I've got Yariki, which can just pretty much obliterate him. My army is far away, so he's got plenty of time to reorganize, and this is what's gonna happen. Oh dear. So I've taken my Yariki around the back, as you should. Again, as I was saying, don't charge in all of your units. So I've got an excellent trade-off there. I managed to hit both of his Yariki and destroy them both, and then obviously that's a good trade-off, 2 for 1 there. Then I charge in my general, my Yariki. I managed to get his general. I then charge this Yariki straight into the back of these red bear infantry units, so they're going to be getting a good mincing sesh. Meanwhile, my army still hasn't even engaged. I mean, he's beginning to shoot at me with those cannons, and these guys, the red bears have turned around, which is a good move. They're beginning to shoot in, but his parrot guns, and bang, his general's just died, and my carbine cav is now right behind and just about to take a shot, but unfortunately the game ends. He just rage quits. So it's a good decisive victory. I thought you might like it, and we'll go to the results screen. So here we are at the results screen. As you can see, we bought the exact same amount of men, and to be honest, the kind of kill loss wasn't actually that different. I mean, I only lost about 30 more men, but wow, look at the battle duration, 3 minutes and 9 seconds. That is, that's probably one of my best timings ever for a match. And if we look over here, so obviously the Yariki getting pretty good, 70 kills, 62, 34, and the carbine cav raking in just a couple of kills, 25 between them. And of course, none of my units actually got any kills. None of my infantry units anyway. So yeah, I mean, I hope you've kind of enjoyed these 2 battles, and they were kind of more casual casts. I think I might call that kind of playlist and little series just called casual casts. And it's more just kind of laid back, relaxed, because normally I feel, although I'm pumped on drugs whenever I'm doing like a really cool battle, but these were just more casual, laid back, relaxed casts. And tell me in the comments if you would like to see more of them. I quite enjoyed it, and they weren't really such important battles, very interesting battles, but they were just a bit of fun to kind of cast. So I hope you enjoyed, but bye for now.